Hello, Dr. Ray.
Hi, Dr. Ray. How are you?
I'm sure I'm going to get really good advice from you.
Well, I don't know about that.
You're right on track with this. You're right on track.
My idea, my theory, my guidance is a bit of a stretch.
Everybody make a mistake.
Does that comfort you?
No.
Am I close?
No.
You are so wrong.
You're so wonderful.
Why do I have to be the insightful professional?
Someone intelligent on radio. Yay!
Did I make you feel a lot better or what?
No, you made me feel worse.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Andrew, I have a suspicion that the woman who said, "You are so wrong," I don't recall that. I don't recall that at all. I'm suspecting that was from another Catholic radio show. I can't prove it, but I don't recall it. In all humility, well, yes, in all humility. I'm taking a little break from training. You know, when you bodybuild, they say that you have to go off your training and your diet for a while. So I probably said something about mustaches. Yeah, that's they're back. They're cool. They're back. They're back in style. Took me 27 years of perseverance to get mustaches back in style. Very nice to have you here. The doctor is in. Enough of this badinage. Let's talk. You and I. Very easy for you to talk. All you have to do is call 877-573-7825. I'm going to talk whether you call or not, but I would much prefer you to call. You make the show. Questions about circumstances in your life, situations, people, places, things, rock, paper, scissors. Or you can comment. Helpful comments for other people. That's great stuff. People have so many insights that I love to hear and love to steal for future books. So thank you so very much. One of these times, I'll give you a percentage of the royalties. My most recent book is $1 million seller. There's $1 million in my cellar. And also people call in with generic questions about faith. I'm going to do my opening monologue today about something that was a logic problem for me, where I was in the evangelical world for those 8 years. 877-573-7825. You will hear the mellifluous voice, the melodious voice of Eric Dumont, our call screamer. Most of the time he's there as a call screamer, unless he has to go to his grandma's funeral, which I think he's gone to his grandma's funeral now, last count, 28 times. 28 times. And he's got a lot of grandmas. And then Andrew Kruchek, producer man, who handles all the buttons and the knobs and the flashing and the beeping things over there in Ann Arbor, who cooperates with EWTN to produce this program. The number one more time, 877-573-7825. Okay, two more times, 877-57 equal. Okay, what's this? Why is that buzz there? No, it's not a base. I just got a text here. Basement seller. No, $1 million in my basement. $1 million seller. I didn't say basement seller. Sometimes I think you people don't listen to me. Actually, no, she might have just been making a play on words there. When I left, eventually, the evangelical world that I was in to return to the Catholic Church, and it was a process. It took, I'd say, 2 or 3 years as I just explored the early church, read all kinds of books about what the Catholic faith teaches and why it teaches it. And I became very convinced that the church is the church our Lord established, that he meant to speak in his name. One of the struggles I had was some logic problems where I was. And I've talked about this at great length in a talk that I have called The Logic of Being Catholic. Give that one sometimes when I'll do a mission or something like that at a parish after talking about the family and marriage. How's that for a really subtle plug, huh? Book me at your next gathering. Where I was, they believed in eternal salvation. And it's not unusual for more fundamentalist-leaning churches, Baptist-oriented churches, non-denominational churches, to have eternal security as one of the absolute pillars of their belief system. I was sitting at a table the other night at a wedding, and there were some folks there, and I was just kind of eavesdropping on their conversation. Not on purpose, but they were only 2 seats away. And they were talking about this one fellow that they know that they thought was a Christian, but then the woman qualified it and says, yeah, but I'm not sure he believes in eternal security. As if that could basically make him not a Christian. Where I was, eternal security was a pillar. That means if you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you ask him into your heart, you believe on him, you will be saved. And not only will you be saved, but you will always be saved. There is nothing you can do to lose that salvation. Even though much of the Protestant world doesn't agree with that, there is a big segment of the Protestant world who does. Also, within where I was, there was a heavy belief among many that the Catholic Church was not a Christian church. Now, that's not unusual. I recall listening when I was in the Protestant world to an awful lot of Christian radio. And I heard one of the highest profile media preachers on Christian radio say this to a large gathering, at which he was cheered, by the way. He said, I will say it, the Catholic Church is the biggest cult in the history of Christianity. Now, it was one thing for him to say this. It doesn't surprise me because he's very anti-Catholic. But the crowd erupted in a roar of approval. And I thought to myself, even at the time, if you believe that, you should be saddened by all the people within the Catholic Church who are being, at the very least, misled, and at the very worst, risking their salvation. That's tragic. You shouldn't cheer it. Now, one would say, well, they were just cheering his courage in saying it. So, you have point one, eternal security. You can't lose your salvation. Point two, the Catholic Church is not a Christian church. Now I know that may come as a shock to some of you, but among certain segments of the non-Catholic Christian world, they believe that. They believe that the Catholic Church has just added so much to simple Bible Christianity that they've just twisted it out of shape, out of recognition, and in fact left too far from what Christ established. So you got that. 1, 2. Here's the logic problem. When I returned to the Catholic Church, as well as several of former members of this particular non-denominational came to the Catholic Church, allegedly they entered a non-Christian church, which means they forsook, is that the right word, their Christianity. They left Christianity to join a cult or to join a non-Christian gathering type. Did they lose their salvation? If you can't lose your salvation, but you join a cult or a non-Christian huge religion, did you lose your salvation? If you can't, then you didn't lose your salvation, even though you entered very misguidedly into this cultish kind of badly twisted up recognition of Christianity. If, in fact, you did risk your salvation, then you are forced to say, I never had salvation to begin with. There's no way I could join the Catholic Church if, in fact, I was truly saved. So I must not have been saved, which is a problem because you were convinced you were. You were told you were. You accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and you believed on him deeply. This is not a fake, fraudulent, I'll commit it because I like the bake sale at the non-denominational. This is a legitimate embracing of Christianity where you cannot forfeit your salvation, but then you did. Which is it? It can't be both. Did you lose your salvation when you said you couldn't? Or did you join a non-Christian religion? Which is it? And I remember thinking about that when I came back to the church, because where I was, they said, Ray, you're saved. You'll always be saved. There's nothing you can do to lose your salvation. You're what? Oh, come on. It's one thing to commit adultery, but it's quite another to join the Catholic Church. I mean, that's really the unspoken message. I remember listening to another very, very high profile Catholic preacher on, Protestant preacher on Christian radio. And he said, what happens if you commit a very, very serious sin? You leave your wife and your kids. What happens? Do you lose your salvation? And he very distinctly said, no, you can't lose your salvation. What you do is you harm your walk with God. You create a bad image of Christianity for other people watching. You affect your own peace and contentment. But he double underlined it. He said, you don't lose your salvation. It's like, wow. That kind of pretty much gives you license to do whatever you want. Now, he wouldn't acknowledge that because he would say, if you wanted to do whatever you want, you weren't saved to begin with, which brings us back to the original problem, which is I thought I was saved to begin with. Yeah, I struggled with stuff like that. I really did. It was only just one piece of the puzzle that I had to put together so that I could come back to the Catholic Church. 877-573-7825, 877-57-EQUAL. We got some lines open. Call in. I will do my very best to talk with you however direction you wish to talk.
Today's programming on Ave Maria Radio during this Holy Week is brought to you in part by a gift from our day sponsor, Mary Pickard. Thank you so much for your donation to help build the church and bless the nations.
You can be a day sponsor too. Just pick up the phone and call toll-free 1-877-288-1077 and say, I want to be a day sponsor.
Welcome to Advanced Dentistry Center family. This is Dr. Metti, and our team strives to treat you like family in a loving and compassionate way as we focus on serving you in a Christ-like manner. We do this by emphasizing prevention and general well-being for a lifetime. Our private practice is small, personal, state-of-the-art, and innovative, with the goal to educate and motivate our patients in improving their oral health. It is through a partnership with you that you will achieve the goals for your smile. Advanced Dentistry is serious about the level of care we provide, with attention to details and an exceptional level of care, skill, and judgment. We are thrilled for the opportunity to serve you.
Dr. Matty and the team invite you to visit them at advanceddentistrycenter.com or call them at 248-594-9592. That's 248-594-9592. AdvancedDentistryCenter.com.
Ave Maria in the Afternoon is underwritten by the following nonprofit organization: Real Estate for Life. Buying or selling your home or business property? Real Estate for Life can connect you with one of 1,400 pro-life real estate agents around the world. When Real Estate for Life receives a referral fee, they donate 70% to Ave Maria Radio and Human Life International. More information at realestateforlife.org or 877-LIFE-US1. That's realestateforlife.org.
Blessed Holy Thursday to you. Triduum begins. Mass tonight. Holy Friday, big gospel. I get to be the voice on the gospel. It's kind of neat. A couple of years ago, I got to do the narration. The narration is a lot more stuff, but the voice is, you got to watch because the voice is pretty nasty. You got the crowd, and you've got some of the religious leaders. They always have me playing the bad guys. All right, let me give you the number again, and then go to your calls, 877-573-7825. That is the number to call to get onto the program. I am back here in Canton, Ohio, after having a wonderful 3 days down at EWTN, recording a whole bunch of stuff. Gabe is calling from The Rock in Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Dr. Ray Guarendi. I love you and adore you in a human fashion, not the one reserved for Jesus, just so you know. I love you. You've helped me so much. You don't even know. And I just want to report a major league miracle that my sister Marisa Louise and I are completely reconciled, reunited. She went to Mass with me on Sunday, Palm Sunday. She's going to go to confession. Anyway, it's a direct result from my beautiful EWTN family and you.
How did you do that, Gabe? How did you reconcile with your sister?
It's called prayer. We're talking militant prayer, rosaries, divine mercy chaplets before the Blessed Sacrament, Mass. I mean, I'm a prayer warrior, Doc. I am. And I just, that's the ticket. You know, the more we're surrendered to our Lord, you know, he doesn't mind us, you know, just like that widow going to that judge. Jesus isn't corrupt, though, like that.
Well, did she approach you, Gabe, or did you approach her?
I approached her, and she was completely receptive, and I was shocked. And she has shown what we would call fruits in keeping with repentance for her being sorry for the things that transpired between us. It's like, I mean, we're talking splendiferous, like, you know, like World Series winning the pennant, like serious miracle, like just beautiful. And I just want you to know that I have my own DSMV. It's fluent though between the numbers 7 through 12. You know, the 12's for the apostles, but it stands for Dummies Saved Most Victorious. Okay. I'm a little bit of I'm a little bit of an armchair.
Well, people might not understand what you're saying. It's a diagnostic and statistical manual number 5, which is, of course, one of the major diagnostic books, manuals for psychologists, psychiatrists. Well, Gabe, I'm glad to hear that, my dear. I'm real glad to hear that. That's very nice, a nice Easter gift for you. Thank you so much.
Can I share one other thing that it's just a little fun thing. I called it, it's for the swanky name. This is like for the DSMV, the Dummy Saved Most Victorious, you know, on number 7 through 12. I have it's for the doctors. It's called CFMS. And then the one for us everyday ordinary, you know, lay people, Josies and Joes, is, what is it? It's, CS. Well, anyway, I'll tell you.
Well, you're losing me, but I'll tell you what, honey. You take good care. I want you to have a blessed Easter, and I am glad you and your sister are definitely connected. Be well. Be very well. 877-573-7825. This is Dr. Ray. All right, I gotta catch up just on this one text that I got. First of all, announcement here. One of our great radio partners, EWTN radio partners, St. John Paul II Catholic Radio down in Southern California. Yeah, that's quite a bunch down there. They got their Family Appeal Tuesday, so please support those folks. They kicked it off Tuesday. Now, what else do I have to say? Yes, this is one I gave out the text number a couple days ago. My husband says I don't listen to him. I don't know what that means, whether you don't listen to him or whether you don't agree with him, so he then says you don't listen to me. Any ideas of what to do to make sure he knows I hear him? Yes, you do what little kids do. When you say something to a kid and you find out that they just ignored it, they could say, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. One little technique you can do is to say, repeat back to me what I just said before you send them off to do what they're supposed to do. Do that with your husband. Say to him, you think I don't listen? Let me tell you what I heard. And then you say it. Now, if he's meaning you don't listen to me, to be you don't agree with me, because teenagers also will do that. They'll say, you never listen to me. Well, you can be a perfect listener. You heard everything that 14-year-old said. You just didn't agree with what she wanted to do or not do. So that's what you got to differentiate with your husband. Got to decide if he's saying you're just ignoring him, you're not giving him your attention, or, and I kind of think this is probably what it is, that you're not necessarily going along with whatever he would like you to go along with or to see a certain way, whatever. And then at that point you could say, I totally listen to you and I totally understand. If I don't agree, does that mean I didn't listen to you? That's what you do. So you repeat what he said, and then you say, okay, I listened. Anything else? Yeah, well, you listen, but you're not going to do it. So what you're saying is, I have to agree. That was going to make a good monologue someday. Okay, David from Ohio. Hi, David.
Hello.
What you got for me?
Hang on a moment. I'm gonna have to stop the car. Hold on a second.
All right.
I don't want to drive while I'm talking on the phone.
Don't pull off on the interstate. Pull off on the interstate.
Oh, no, it's just a side street.
Right.
But in any case, I'm having a problem helping people in this area because I want to reach out and help people. I can't stand to see them suffer the way I have. So I try to reach out to them, and they're having trouble finding counseling when their needs are beyond my help. And part of the problem is, you go to CatholicCounselors.org, which is a great organization, but most people who are poor can't afford the, self-pay fees. The cheapest one in this area is $90, and it's like, and insurance requires you to make a false diagnosis, any diagnosis, just to treat someone. I understand entirely how you feel about diagnoses that are just slapped on people, although you said you object for different reasons. Sometimes people just slap a diagnosis with no rhyme or reason. But the problem is, and also a lot of these places that are secular and do accept insurance, they give into the woke culture. They're required. I talked to some of these people. They're required to lie to patients and tell them it's okay to be aberrant if you want to.
Okay,
and,
you have raised, David. You have raised a number of questions in your call. So I'd like to address them now. I only have about a minute, so I'm going to have to probably carry you through the break. The prominent question is, how do you get help when it's so expensive? There's several ways to do that. Most public agencies have a sliding fee scale, and they will give you counseling on the basis of what you make. I did like that at a mental health center for years. We only billed what the client could pay based on their income. That's one. Now, your objection to that is, well, those are secular psychologists, secular mental health people, and I can't be sure they're going to respect the person's deepest held religious beliefs, which is fair enough. And speaking of fair enough, I got to do what the break says. So stay there. I'll address some more of your questions. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the call to get onto the program. 877-573-7825. I definitely would like to hear from you. Please. I'm talking to David. He has raised several questions. He refers people to counselor types, mental health types, and he finds several roadblocks. One, of course, is if you pay yourself, self-pay, very expensive. That's true. That's true. The going rate for mental health types, be they social workers, be they counselor types, be they clinical psychologists, very expensive. It's not unusually over $200 an hour. I don't charge anywhere near that because I don't think anything I would say would be worth that much. It's true. I'm not making that up. However, I suggested to David that he can refer people to the local mental health center, the local public agency that bills on a sliding fee scale. They look into what the person makes and charge accordingly. When I worked at the mental health center, some people paid $10, $12, $15. Now, David's worry about that, and it's fair, it's a legitimate one, is you can't know if that counselor type is going to respect your deepest held religious beliefs. A lot of them, sadly, don't. So, I think, David, what it comes down to is that when you refer someone to an agency and they will pay on a sliding fee scale, that they make it very clear to the counselor type that they're seeing that their faith is very important to them, and they can simply, in the very first session, ask that counselor, are you comfortable with helping me deal with these problems within the context of my faith as I tell you about it? You can't expect they're going to know about it, but as I tell you about it. Now, your point about to get insurance reimbursement, you have to have a diagnosis is true. I guess that's the insurance company's ways of saying we just don't want people to go get counseling. We want to make sure there's something, quote, unquote, wrong with them, mentally disorder speaking. So that's right. So to get insurance reimbursement. Now, one of the most common diagnoses given, it's very, very common, it happens an awful lot, adjustment disorder with mixed emotional features. So in other words, somebody's coming in and they're in some kind of crisis in their life and they're disturbed about it. They are either depressed about it, they're anxious about it. Something is rattling their emotions. That's a if I remember correctly, it's a 309.28 code. Adjustment disorder with mixed emotional features. Very commonly given a diagnosis like that, and the insurance companies will accept it. It's not a diagnosis that in any way makes somebody ineligible generally to get a job. It doesn't hinder them. They're not going to be assessed on, well, let's see, you got a mental disorder here. No, by its nature, it's an adjustment disorder. So there you go, David, answering some of the questions. Tomorrow, Ave will be celebrating Holy Friday, so we will not have a live show. We will have a rerun. Most shows that are reruns are best of. You are listening to a best of. The doctor is in. We don't have any best ofs. I have a least worst of. EWTN is preempting this program tomorrow. Okay, for their own special Good Friday programming. Got that. Understand that. Now, that said, I'd like to make a comment, a post-monologue. Put yourself in the sandals of the apostles. You have traveled with Jesus for 3+ years. You have seen his power. You've seen what he can do. The wind and the waves obey him. Demons obey him. Disorders flee just at his word. You're convinced He is the Son of God. He's sent from God. God himself. And then he's arrested. And if you're anywhere in the crowd, when Pilate says, "Ecce homo," behold the man, what he was saying was, look, are you satisfied? Look what I did to him. That was Pilate's way of saying, look, I do not want to condemn this man. And you're watching all this. Can you imagine the confusion that you would have? You've seen how he can command nature, how he has incredible power, always in control of every situation. And now? This just doesn't fit. This doesn't fit at all. Judas hanged himself. Gospels say he repented what he did. Why would he hang himself? If, in fact, he was betraying Jesus so that Jesus would be arrested and punished, then he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. I suspect that Judas didn't think it was going to end up like this. So he was shocked too. Peter was so shocked that he swore an oath that he didn't know Jesus. That's how shocked he was. He could figure out what's going on. What is happening here? Over and over and over, this man has shown us by his power, by his intellect, by his control of situations, always. And this, now? Arrested? Beaten? Crucified? What? They would be dumbfounded beyond words. Dumbfounded beyond words. And can you only imagine when they saw him alive again? Gospels say they rejoiced. Hey, the Gospels are so understated. I would probably write like, I went crazy beyond words. I couldn't find the right language to express what was going on inside me. Gospel says, and the apostles were overjoyed. Yes, had to be a confusing journey for the apostles there for a while, you think? We call it Good Friday, where our Savior, the God of the universe, was crucified by people. And we call it Good Friday because of what he did for us. Next book coming out, it's all about reverse psychology. Our advertising strategy is a slogan. Don't buy it. Sherry's calling from Michigan. A rather unique situation. A situation, of course, on the tails of a recent Supreme Court decision, which I'm absolutely delighted that they went in this direction. Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Are you saying that your daughter would be upset that the Supreme Court said that you are not permitted to ban what is called conversion therapy? If somebody comes in and says, look, I need some help sorting through my confusion, your daughter would say, absolutely not. It should be banned. Is that what you're saying?
She is very upset that it passed.
Well, it didn't pass. It had already passed. It has been struck down.
Yeah, she's upset that it was struck down. She's a fully licensed therapist, and she works in a school district, and she is very upset that it was struck down.
Ask her this, Sherry. Ask her this. If someone comes in and they're confused about anything, they're confused about their parents, they're confused about their eating habits, that they could be anorexic, would you counsel them and help them to get over their confusion? And she's going to say yes. So why is it off limits? Just ask her to explain to you, why is it off limits for a therapist to help someone who comes in and says, I'm confused about this, I don't like it, I need to help, I need to sort through this. Why is that off limits? That's the question I would ask her. We're allowed to deal with anything. We're allowed to deal with anything that somebody comes in with, for the most part, unless it's illegal. But any confusion that they might have about life. Why is this one something we cannot? If the client says, I want to talk about it, we have to say, no, you don't. You can't. I'm not allowed. Get your daughter to explain why this is. And I've been a psychologist for 40 plus years. This is the only thing that I've ever been told. Now, I haven't personally been told this, but by the states, the only thing that I am not allowed to address in therapy when a client comes in and says, I want to address it. That's why the Supreme Court flat out just crushed it.
Yeah, because she sent me a screenshot from what the American Counseling Association, how disappointed they were, and she also had sent me a video of the governor of Michigan, how she's extremely disappointed, and she said that it's wrong, that she hopes she never has to enforce it.
I don't understand that. I do not understand it at all. I'm not even coming from a religious perspective on this, Sherry. I'm coming from simply a therapeutic perspective. If someone comes in and says, I have impulses and feelings that I don't like, they're distressing me, help me to sort through them, and I can't? What is it about this? And especially her whole association. That just boggles my mind. And, of course, that's not a surprise because I think the American Psychological Association is the same place. Ask your daughter this. If someone comes into her office and says, I have an eating problem, I look in the mirror, and I see a very, very fat person. And this is a 14-year-old girl who's 5'2", and she weighs 80 pounds. She's way too skinny. She's been starving herself. She's been throwing up. And she says, I just see a fat person. Ask your daughter if she would say, well, what we'll try to do is we'll try to get you down to 60 pounds. Maybe we can get you on Ozempic. And maybe do a little stomach stapling here and try to get you down to 60 pounds. Or ask her, would you help this young lady deal with her misperceptions about what she sees in the mirror? And your daughter would have to say, well, yes, I would. Well, then tell me how that's different. If that same girl comes in and says, I've got these feelings somehow that I'm a boy and it's all confusing and it's scaring me, all of this. I would also ask your daughter, I would say, nobody is saying you have to force anything on anybody. All they were saying by this law in Colorado was that you're not even allowed to talk about this.
So on this law, how is it affecting, like, the transgender, how is that affecting the community or the children that are coming into the counseling office?
It affects the children terribly because, one, you can't sort through it with them. You can't explore what's going on in their lives that could be making them this confused. And research says that with any kind of counseling and or even just letting it go without channeling these kids towards this confusion, 97% of them, once they're through their teen years, revert back to their biological sex in their sense of self. So what it does to affect the kids is that you got the professionals basically saying, good, if this is what you think, we got to go with it. Absolutely. No matter what, no questions asked. I, as a psychologist, I can't fathom this. I'm not even talking from a religious perspective. I'm talking from a psychologist where somebody would say to me, well, Ray, if somebody comes in with a homicidal impulse, they absolutely want to kill their mother. You can't talk about that. You can't really help them. If that's really what they want, this makes no sense. This makes no sense to choose this as a boundary for therapists. And I think the Supreme Court saw that. They said, look, you're flat out just stifling professional freedom of speech here. Somebody comes in my office, I'm not going to say, okay, well, here's what I think you should be. No. I'm going to try to find out why they think the way they think. What's happening? And there's a lot of research that says a lot of these kids are confused for a lot of reasons. Not only the stuff they see on the internet, the algorithms that push them this way, but family dysfunction, a disproportionate percentage of kids who are on the autistic spectrum. There's all kinds of contributing factors to this that need to be explored. Ask your daughter about that. Say, what factors do you think are involved in this?
I will definitely do that this weekend. I appreciate your help.
Don't fight with her, though, Sherry, because I got a feeling she's going to get real mad. So
I have a feeling, yes.
Yeah.
Just like ask her on a lot of the other topics.
Ask her to explain herself. That's all. You're not trying to challenge her. You just are saying, explain yourself. What is it that you do not want a therapist to work with someone who says, I want you to help me?
Okay. Thank you for all your help. I appreciate it.
Good luck. You heard the passion in my voice. Man. All right. Thanks, Sherry. This is Dr. Ray.
Weingarts. Hi, I'm Dan Weingarts. When it comes to outdoor power equipment, you're never on your own. Since 1945, our customers and communities have trusted Weingarts for expert advice. That's why we stand behind John Deere lawn and garden tractors, known for quality, durability, and equipment built to last. From equipment, parts, repairs, and at-home service, we're here every step of the way. Stop by our stores or visit us at Weingarts.com, where our experts can help you choose the right John Deere equipment for your lawn. Expert solutions, honest value, easy ownership. That's the Weingarts way.
This Easter, give meaningful gifts at Keep On Giving. Our Lady of Grace Bookstore in Ann Arbor has a terrific selection of Catholic books and gifts for your loved ones under age 18 and the young adults in your life. Pre-shop for ideas at OurLadyOfGraceBookstore.com. They're located in Ann Arbor at US 23 and M14 inside Domino's Farms Office Park at Lobby C. Follow them on Facebook and visit OurLadyOfGraceBookstore.com for directions and Holy Week hours. Mention this ad to receive 15% off your purchase. Your faith matters, and right now, it needs your support. From April 13th through the 17th, Ave Maria Radio is holding its pledge drive, and we're inviting you to be a part of something bigger. Every program you hear, every message of hope, truth, and encouragement is made possible by listeners just like you. Your gift helps share the beauty of the Catholic faith with thousands who need it. Don't wait. Make your donation during the Ave Maria Radio Pledge Drive, April 13th through the 17th, and help keep this vital ministry strong.
This program brought to you in part by Ave Maria, Florida, a big kind of small town where golf carts take you everywhere and there's always something fun around the corner. Discover championship golf, resort-style amenities, and a town center full of shopping and dining. With Ave Maria University and Ave Maria Catholic Church at its heart, it's a community full of connection and charm. More than 25 model homes are available for viewing. More information can be found at AveMaria.com. That's AveMaria.com.
like when I get to the end of the program and the question from someone on the line is really straightforward. Now, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is I don't sound very smart because of it. But the good news is I can get to it and I don't have to leave them hanging. Angelica. See, the law on EWTN broadcast radio is that anybody named Angelica jumps the line. If there's 27 people waiting and somebody named Angelica calls, that's it. It's a paragraph subsection C. Hi, Angelica.
Hey, I'm going to call more often if I get bumped up.
I got a really neat answer. I'm going to let you then embellish my answer, but here's the answer I'm going to give you, okay?
Okay.
When you meet someone that you'd like to get to know better.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that's it?
That's it. I told you. It's very simple. Your question was, after a breakup, what do you do? How long do you wait? Well, there's no time to wait. If you meet someone that you'd like to get to know better, then you get to know them better. I know what you're saying, Angelica. I know what you're saying. I don't want to start dating somebody for the wrong reasons. I don't want to be on a rebound. You know, that's dangerous because you could have lower standards because you just had a breakup and you're kind of maybe lonely and looking to be with somebody else. I mean, are you saying any of that?
Sorta, yeah.
I mean, I tried to say it in your voice, but I couldn't.
Well, okay, so, I mean, it's been 8 months. This is the 9th month. And I'm still sort of a little hung up on the breakup, still a little emotional about it.
Did you break up or did he?
He broke up with me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How would that, if he broke up with you, how would that keep you, how would that make you reluctant to meet someone else?
Well, I mean, it's a very emotional thing because, well, we were together for a little over a year, and I mean, I saw my whole future with him. I even decided that I was willing to move 5 hours away for him, to be away from my parents if we were going to get married. And I mean, just for all of that to come to nothing, I was just like, well, I mean, it's just very emotional. Like, I still can't believe it.
I got it now that you said that. I have slightly changed my speculation, which is, if something that you thought was so solid, so future-oriented, could fall apart, break, without you even seeing it coming, really, then you'd be real skittish about trying it again with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I knew I'd get it. If I talked long enough, I knew I'd get it. Well, here's what can help you. If you meet someone that you want to get to know more, you go very, very slow. You learned a lesson from this guy. Obviously, he did not have the same look to the future that you did, obviously. He either met somebody else or he got tired of the relationship, whatever it was. In a new relationship, if you go slower, you will see things. If they're going to happen badly, you'll see them coming. With him, you didn't see him coming. You probably pretty early on were thinking, this is the one. This is the one. Am I right or am I right?
Oh, you're right.
Thank you. I didn't give you any other option. But given that, I think that's why you're nervous. You're saying, okay, it's been 9 months, and I'm scared. Well, look what happened. I thought that was such a sure thing. Well, I guess I would say this. There were things you were probably missing about the relationship that would explain be careful. So you learn from that, and the new relationship that you pursue at some point, whenever you decide or meet someone, you just go slower, and you're more careful and cautious about it. You don't give your heart away after 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm glad you called her. I got to let you go. I want to wish everybody a beautiful Holy Friday. So you call me back, okay? This is Dr. Ray. I got about 20 seconds. Blessed Holy Thursday to you. And since tomorrow we will not be here, I wish I could have talked more about Easter. But I think next week, maybe during the octave of Easter, I'll do an Easter monologue. But blessed Easter to you all. It is the greatest story ever told. All human history hinges upon this God-man who rose from the dead. Can you wrap your head around that?
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.